like you. You're just not bright enough. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of AP Wargaming and Terrain. So, one of my subscribers asked how I made my halo light. And I've been meaning to make a new one for quite a while because this one's a little short. It gets in my face a lot. I hit it on my hat, everything else like that. Not to mention, it's only got one light strip to it, and I want one that's got two strips to it because, as you can tell, I'm going blind a little bit. So I wanted to get one that's a little bit taller, a little more light to it. So one of the things that I like to do here on the channel is I like to do things on the cheap end because I don't have a lot of money and I know a lot of other people don't. So when I do things, I do them in accordance with the fact that I want to try to keep the cost of stuff on the low end. So that being said, this light bar that we're about to make here in a little bit did in fact cost me less than $30 without tax, of course. The bar itself was about $7. Nuts and bolts, you're looking at about $2, and then for the LED light pack that we're going to use for this, it's running about $20 at Menards. So we're right underneath that $30 limit, which is awesome. I know there's a lot better lighting systems out there for desks that are a little bit more expensive but brighter, and unfortunately I just don't have the money for that. So we're gonna do it my way, the cheap way. We're just gonna make it ourselves. So let's not head to the table, let's head out to the shop. Alright guys, so the first thing you're going to need is an aluminum strip. I bought one that's 6 foot long, 1 inch wide, and 1/8 inch thick. Second thing you'll need is a Patriot LED strip. I bought mine at Menards. It was about $20. There are better ones online. And then for the nuts, bolts, and washers, that is a preference due to thickness of table, so I'm not going to explain what I bought. So for the first part is I broke off the excess of this aluminum strip, and you don't need to cut it. Really all you need to do is, well, put it in a vise and bend it, and then bend it back again, and it will break. Aluminum is very fragile when you bend it more than once, so it don't even really need a vise, guys. If you bend it on a table edge and then bend it back, it will snap off. Super simple. Now I did my holes at about 3/4 of an inch, but that's because that's where the holes are at on my desk already. Now for drilling the holes, I would recommend you start with a smaller bit and then move up to a larger bit up until the point in which your bolt can actually pass through the hole. You can make the hole larger, but you can't undo what you've done and make the hole smaller. So just start with a smaller bit and then move on from there until you've gotten the right size that you need. Now in this part I was creating the feet, which I did 2 inches on the feet. There's no reason for why I did 2 feet, I just liked the size. After I bent it down, I used a hammer to give the bend more of a 90-degree angle instead of a rounded out edge. Whenever you're doing this, I would say you should probably be careful because, like I said, aluminum stripping does break if you're too rough with it. I actually almost broke the foot on this one and would have had to go get a whole new strip, which would have been a super pain in the butt. So really just apply some force downwards on it until you get a nice 90-degree angle on there, and then get a hammer, pound it out until it's nice and flat. Now when it comes to putting it on the desk, like I said, I've already had my pilot holes on the desk already done, so I didn't show any of that. But really, if you just put the feet where you want them on the desk and then make a little marker dot, and then take the drill that you used to get the hole in your aluminum and just drill the hole through the desk, and then they attach up pretty easy. I put a washer on the bottom because the type of desk that I'm using is like one of those crappy sawdust kind of desks, so they fall apart really easy. So I wanted to make sure that bolt didn't get a chance to basically walk its way outside of my desk. So that's how I did that. And then we moved on to the next side doing the same thing. And then from there, we started doing the light strip. Now with my light strip, it was pulled off of my old Halo light. So it was a little messed up, and I did have to do some taping, as you can see. I also had to use some of the connector pieces, which brings me to the fact of these connector pieces with this Patriot lighting kit don't seem to have been made for this lighting strip, because these multicolored lights have five connectors on them, and if you use one of their connectors, they only have 4 pins on them, which kind of messed up my lights a little bit. So now I've got white and blue instead of just plain white, which is kind of weird. Not really sure why you did that one, Patriot, but that's super confusing and also very annoying. So anyways, I just used the sticky tape on the back of these lights to just stick it to the bar. I ran it as close to the edge as possible so I could fit both lighting strips, one at the front and one at the back. Now with these lighting strips, you can buy them online for cheaper, and they're probably better, more lumens, and going to be a lot brighter. But I am a very impatient person and didn't want to wait for a couple of days in order to get that lighting strip, so I used what I had, which was going to Menards and buying connectors and stuff like that to just use my existing lighting. Now, if I was to do it all over again, and I might in the future, but we'll talk more about that at some other point, but I would like a brighter lighting system. I like these color ones because, you know, when I take pictures and stuff like that, I can do things such as that if I would like. I've never done that, but I like having the option if it, you know, need be. So once you got all that put on there and everything, plug it in, turn it on, make sure everything works, and that's about it. It's really simple, guys. So
there it is, new Halo light. It is a little bit brighter, I think. The 2 strips definitely did it justice. Super quick, easy to do. I mean, you don't really even need the tools that I used. The drill press was just what I had. You could just use a drill gun to put those holes in there. It's very simple. It is aluminum stripping, so it just goes through it. One thing I would say is instead of getting a 1/8 thick aluminum, 1/16, which was my old Halo light, was a lot easier to work with. It didn't want to break after I bent it. I had to be pretty delicate with this when we were doing these pieces back here, the corners, to get it attached to the desk. So if you have the option of getting the 1/16, I would definitely do that instead of getting the 1/8. However, this one doesn't bounce around as much like my 1/16 did, so it's a toss-up. If you're not gonna bump into your table a lot, you might want to go with the 1/16, but if you hit your table a lot like I tend to do, the 1/8 is going to be a much better piece of metal for you, because it doesn't have a whole lot of bounce to it. So anyways, there it is, guys. Very simple. I am going to start doing videos here and every now and then of me upgrading my workstation. I think the next thing that we're gonna do is probably a new table. I'm gonna do an L-shaped table, kind of stretch it out over here into the corner, so I have a little bit more space and a better work area, so I don't have to work on just one thing. I can work on multiple things at a time. So anyways, if you enjoyed the video, guys, make sure to hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button, hit the little bell notification so you don't miss anything. Share this out on some of them pages. We gotta try to get to that 1K subscribers, guys, so let's keep on trucking in that aspect. Anyways, yeah, so we'll see you this time next week.